mean, I can make it directly from the colors, but I already have a UI asset made. Why is this just not... Why is it just, you know, working as it should be? I mean, I guess I can just create the image 2D from the color array. Like, fine. That's just freaking amazing. T-array of F color. We'll call it the texture. And this one's just going to be a T-array of F color. Reference. Texture data. Texture data. So okay, texture data. I'll create an asset on this thing. And we'll need the width and height. Color array. 132 in width and 32 in height. Alright, so I got the width and height from this thing. We'll be able to save it here. We should be able to pass it straight in, basically. Through our factory. Let's see how it goes. Man, just messing around with stuff. Not. Actually, just delete that intermediate folder file there in case it's going to screw something up. yeah, we need to include the image utils stuff in here, don't we? This is include path module names. Alright, we'll see. I think I got the right includes going. It's kind of a lot of stupid stuff to have to save something. Like, just want to save a new texture into the asset database. You'd think it'd be like save asset to database would be literally a call. You know, just like, there you go, save it, save in the database. Yeah, I'm looking at some other code right here. It's just, there's like uTexture. You could just like make a new object, add it, suppress some overwrite dialogues, and like create a binary asset straight up at a file path if you really want to. But you have to have a texture factory to do it. Do they already have a uTexture factory? Yeah, I guess factory create binary for writing files instead of gedit. So they might already have a few functions for doing this, but they look like they're specific. There's factory create binary. Alright, so we got test saves, test texture, width and height. Yeah, and we need to set this reference as a Yeah, uparam ref. There we go. Got to get that thing going on in there. We're just messing around. We're not really getting a whole hell of a lot done. But that doesn't matter. We'll just get things slowly completed. So that's as fast as we're going right now. Oh, it's probably just this new object thing that does it, isn't it? Asset post import broadcast this, and then this is the U object. So I probably don't need to do a whole lot of this stuff. I could just make a new object. And this is what? Texture Factory. Probably a texture factory.cpp. No results found. Alright, so we should be able to construct this thing. Let's see how it goes. There's the texture. So the code that they had actually did stuff. Well, let's save it. And what we want to do is, like, when we move this, it's going to get all screwed up. But inside of our blueprint, basically, we're going to want to call set texture. I can find names later. Yeah, that's usually what you do for armor pieces and stuff like that, and especially RPGs and all that. You just like armor 1, armor 2, armor 3, and then you come up with the names way later. Alright, so we basically want a texture which is edit anywhere and blueprint read write, which is, yeah, so we're basically just want to say, we should just be able to call set texture equal and it should work. So let's see if, what's going to happen inside of this thing. Texture creator component is when it calls build texture. I mean, really, all we got to check is if, like, yeah, we've got this texture set up here, which is transient. Wait, what? Oh, it's inside of engine / transient. It's not a transient piece of information, though. Alright, so build texture is going to happen when we call get texture. So basically going to say, like, if mTexture equals null pointer does not equal null pointer, then return mTexture. Let's see how that goes. It's kind of unfortunate that we have this just like, you know, saving cache data is not as easy as you would imagine. But I mean, it's an engine made for, you know, 60-person studios and crap like that, so it's not super surprising that a lot of the little things are just kind of, well, left as an exercise to the implementer. You know, it's an engine where you're kind of supposed to be working on it for years and years and have a whole lot of support and all that sort of stuff to make anything look awesome. So we'll construct this thing. And object already is, do you want to replace this? Yes. Okay, so we got it there, we got it saved. And when we click on this height map static texture, it's inside engine transient. Well, we need to actually set the texture, so we rebuilt it? Why did it get rebuilt? How come I can't set this? Seems really silly that you can't just set this thing. This whole stream is just an exercise in making things more difficult than they need to be, I think. I still don't understand why I can't set this variable. I think it's a public variable. It's edit anywhere. I mean, it's pointing to the test texture correctly in this thing. So if I move this object, it's still pointing at the test texture. Alright, so if we save everything, is it going to reload with this thing properly? It's only been partially loaded. I don't understand. We can't save it? So that's exactly why this texture here is not getting saved. Because we should have had a reference to a texture here saved. So the texture is not built. It's false. This texture is null. Static height. Why the fuck is the texture null? Makes no damn sense. Okay, we saved. Now we should be able to reload this thing. And the texture should have actually been saved. It was a real texture associated with that object. Texture still null. Alright, that makes... Like, what the fuck? Like, that's ridiculous that this is null. Like, why? Why is it null? Like, because it's blueprint read write, it's edit anywhere, it's a variable, we've saved it, it's... Alright, so why don't we just add a variable on here, which is called height map texture, which is instance editable. By default it'll be none, and we go to set up shader variables, and we're just going to get our height map texture right here. These things just don't like to play nicely together. Yeah, we're just going to use this to build the texture. In effect, we don't even need any of this crap, do we? Like we're calling set data and all this other stuff. We don't need this texture creator component anymore. It's worthless. I mean, we're not even using it anymore. Like literally, we're not using it here. And inside of this like construct static thing, we're like, we construct the data out of the output of this thing, so like we don't even need any of this. We just have this like save texture asset, which we literally just do this with, and we just grab the height map resolution and we just throw it in here. So we're just gonna get rid of the height map component entirely. And that's just how it's gonna be. So static height map creator, file, save, where is it? Set texture size, doesn't matter, don't need it. So all we do is just call generate static height map, and it'll go save this thing, and then we'll just have it. The blueprint object itself has to hold the references. That's just how it goes. So I couldn't write to it because something was using it. Alright, so we have to actually set our... We can't reference this texture from here. So we actually have to set this thing to none. Alright, and inside of our save function, we need to have this thing saved, but we don't want to... It's like creator update texture. So let's see, texture tool. So let's see if there's something in the flags for this object utils, create object 2D, the fimage utils, and see if there's something we can pass into. What are the e-object flags? So where exactly was this? This asset is referenced by other content. Okay, so we want to update this thing if possible. So it goes into create asset. Alright, so we have to like go and see if this thing exists and then go do stuff. Otherwise there's no way to disable the content check block crap here, which is annoying. Alright, so if the texture is null pointer, then we can go ahead and create it. Otherwise, we need to do all of this garbage. So we need the width and the height, which we have. We'll lock the MIP. For every height, we shove the color in there. And the color array is this texture data. So I think all we have to do is that, and it'll update and post edit change and everything. So let's see if it actually does that and stops getting all angry at me. It's been quite a while since I've had to mess around with the editor code stuff, so. And we're gonna have to like get the current level and then get the path there, and that's how we're gonna get the current level, get the current name of the object that we are. Then we're gonna create an asset of that path inside of our level content folder, and that's how we're going to save and update our textures for our water stuff. Kind of not the way I'd like to do it. I would have rather not needed to go make a whole custom saving and loading system specifically for texture objects, specifically for a specific level, and added more stuff to the database, but, well, that's what it's kind of shook out to. Whoops, I forgot to return text right there. It's like, why was it blank? It shouldn't be blank. It should be the opposite of blank. Frank. Alright. So just a couple more things and we'll have it kind of set up, and I'm just figuring out what I'm doing here, so sorry it's not super interesting, and we're not really working on the water stuff, we're just working on editor garbage. But this is me learning more about Unreal 4 and being like, okay, saving stuff that is cached, you have to go make a system to do it. Don't try a bunch of magical mumbo jumbo crap. It's just going to take saving, so just expect to do that. Because I've only been working on Unreal since the start of this year, so that's really not that long. And almost none of that was actual gameplay stuff. A lot of it was just getting libraries and helpful code. A lot of that's been spent figuring out why shadow maps don't work properly. Alright, so we do have this actually working. I think I'm going to stop here and come back tomorrow and actually finish off the texture saving stuff. Put it in the level specific folders, stuff like that. I think that's what I'll do. Let's just make this super opaque. Now, why is that black? Blacker's thing's getting close, so this means that there is a thing here that is closer than the rest. So it's kind of short. Yeah, I guess that's the geometry coming up to meet it. So our shore information is all available. So that's good. It looks like we need to blur it or something. You know, like we need a little bit of blurriness coming off here. How does it feel to spend all day inside a cave? We're gonna go outside for a second. Yeah. Feels fine. Feels like home. So eventually this will be a beautiful water area inside of our cave. But for now, it's a grayscale height map. And one of the other things we might want to do is, I don't know, I'm going to have to see exactly how the shore stuff works and if it works well or not for this type of height map, because we may need to just do like a scene capture 2D with an orthographic camera and record the height and the depth of the pixel as part of it. And basically the scene capture 2D, what we would do for that is we would use the kind of the raycast stuff that we already have to populate a list of objects to render, and then we'd render all those objects and all that. So how come you spend so much time on it? Well, because it's kind of a piece, right? Like, we're going to use the same water all over the place. You know, same thing with the waterfalls, same thing with anything else. So if we get all this working properly, then, you know, it'll only take like a couple seconds to slap on, you know, a scene like this. And then somebody can go, they can stop and go, oh man, that looks cool, and then keep going. So we should have stuff like this all over the place. Yeah, R&D is always a good thing, and for this game, pretty much we're going to be researching and developing stuff the whole time, so that's just how it goes. But yeah, I mean, it is a good question. Like, why are we spending so much time on something that is, you know, we're going to just run past? And it's like, well, because we'll be running past a lot of stuff that looks like this. And we're not going to remake it all. And they keep going, smashes the wall. Yeah, it's true. Anyway, thanks for hanging out and dealing with my constant bitching about everything. But hopefully what we'll get going is some actual water stuff, and once we get all the information together over the next couple days of like where everything is, then there'll be actual like interesting stuff where it's like, okay, you know, the shore is right here, so we should apply this shore texture with this noise, with this, you know, static noise on a constant ripple, getting, you know, something like these shore ripples just existing nicely in the world, and they'll be like, oh man, that's so cool, and we're only able to, it only took us like a line or two in our material to get that, and all that. And then eventually we'll just be lining up hunters and fat sacks and chucking them into the water and watching them fall off the edge of the world into infinity and die. And we will know that all of our work has been successful. Anyway, so have a good one, and I'll see you guys sometime later. Hopefully things are. We've had a few frustrating days here. Like, we had all that crap with projection vectors, and we had all that other crap with, you know, saving data and figuring it out and all that. And I swear we'll eventually get to something where I'm like, I know exactly what I'm doing, and I'm enjoying myself. But we gotta go slog through some stuff first. So anyway, have a good one.